Goodbye 2023 and hello 2024. In this special edition of KinoCheck News, we give you the ultimate rundown. What were the most important events this past year, and what can we expect in the future? We'll get you up to date. The first big highlight was back in January. The brand new bosses of DC, James Gunn and Peter Safran, announced their plans regarding their future film universe, the DCU. As with Marvel, there will be different phases. The first chapter is called Gods and Monsters, starting in 2025 with James Gunn's Superman Legacy. Much to the disappointment of many fans, Henry Cavill will not be returning to the role of the Man of Steel. Instead, newcomer David Corenswet will need to prove himself in the legendary role. Moreover, the DC Elseworlds are an additional category of projects that are meant to stand on their own. These include, for example, the sequels Joker 2 as well as The Batman 2. In March, it was time for the Academy Awards. Edward Berger's war drama, All Quiet on the Western Front, was one of the big winners of the prestigious film awards and made German film history. The movie won a total of 4 Oscars, including the title of Best International Film. This year's Best Film went to the crazy multiverse adventure Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which was honored with a total of 7 awards. In the Best Leading Actor category, Brendan Fraser was recognized for his performance in The Whale. In March, the first season of The Last of Us, which was highly praised by fans and critics alike, celebrated its grand finale. As many as 8.1 million people watched it. This makes the series, starring Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, one of the most successful of the entire year. Season 2 is set to follow in 2025. The first mega blockbuster of the year was then released in April. The eagerly awaited video game adaptation, Super Mario Bros., made a whopping $1.36 billion at the box office. The enormous success once again demonstrated the potential of adapting popular video games into movies. Later in the year, it was announced that Nintendo's famous Zelda game series was also to be brought to the big screen, but as a live-action version. In May, Hollywood was hit by one of the biggest crises of all time. The Writers Guild of America called a strike, with significant repercussions for the whole industry. Over an impressive 4-month period, the writers fought for better working conditions. Key issues included regulations for AI and higher pay in this era of streaming. Popular TV shows were suspended with immediate effect, and the pre-production of planned cinema blockbusters such as Sonic 3, I Am Legend 2, and The Batman 2 also came to a halt temporarily. The next piece of news was also a bombshell. The actors went on strike as well and joined the fight for better pay and working conditions. In total, over 160,000 members belonged to the actors union, SAG-AFTRA. The consequences were devastating. Almost all major productions had to be stopped. Hollywood came to a standstill. Over the course of the summer months, there was thus a massive wave of postponements, and that included Marvel. The entire release schedule was completely scrapped. 7 productions were pushed back to next year, and some were even postponed indefinitely. This year, the MCU was already struggling with several problems anyway. The anticipated success of major releases, such as Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and The Marvels, failed to materialize. There was also a long period of uncertainty regarding Kang actor Jonathan Majors. The actor is involved in an abuse scandal in which he is accused of domestic violence and assault. He was eventually fired by Marvel at the end of the year. It is unclear what will happen next because his role as Kang was originally conceived as the absolute central character in the upcoming Avengers movies. Fans of James Cameron's Avatar film series will also have to wait longer than expected. In mid-June, it was announced that Avatar 3, Avatar 4, and Avatar 5 will be postponed to 2025, 2029, and 2031. Part 5 of the popular science fiction franchise is therefore set to be released almost 22 years after Part 1. Apart from the strike, the 2023 movie summer was completely dominated by the Barbenheimer phenomenon. On one side, there was the historical drama Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, 3 hours long with powerful images, partly in black and white, and a huge cast of character actors around lead actor Cillian Murphy. On the other hand was the brightly colored, ironically funny plastic adventure Barbie by Greta Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. 2 movies that couldn't be any more different, and yet have caused an incredible sensation at the cinema. Greta Gerwig's comedy ended up grossing $1.44 billion at the box office, making it the most successful movie of 2023. But Oppenheimer has no reason for dissatisfaction either. with box office takings of $953 million. It is the most successful biopic of all time. In contrast, things continue to go downhill in the superhero department. We have already mentioned the financial MCU setbacks, Ant-Man 3 and the Marvels, but the situation is no better at DC. The Flash proved to be a gigantic flop. Blue Beetle fell short of expectations, and things are currently looking pretty bad for Aquaman 2, the final movie of the DCEU. The only promising sign in 2023 was the performance of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in May, although this brought the film series to a close, for now. The end of the strikes. The first sense of relief for Hollywood came at the end of September. After 148 days, the writers were able to reach an agreement with the studios, and the first strike was over. In November, the actors finally followed suit and also succeeded in enforcing their demands. All in all, Hollywood was thus on break for around 7 months. It is estimated that the strike cost the Southern California economy more than $6.5 billion. It was the first joint strike in more than 60 years. The effects will be noticeable for a long time to come. Numerous productions are currently competing over what can be resumed first. Over the course of 2024 and 2025, there will also likely be periods of low activity in terms of new film and series releases. Problems and postponements aside, the release schedule for 2024 still has a lot to offer. Here are our personal highlights. The first major movie will be released on Valentine's Day on February 14th. Madam Web is the next chapter in Sony's Spider-Man universe. The last movies in the film series, Morbius and Venom 2, were rather disappointing for many viewers. However, Dune 2, which can finally celebrate its premiere on March 1st after being postponed due to the strikes, certainly stands a better chance of success. The sequel, Kung Fu Panda 4, will be released on March 8th. Many people can barely wait for the return of the hungry fighting panda, Po. After all, the previous movie is already 8 years old. Then, on March 29th, we go on another ghost hunt, as this is when Ghostbusters Frozen Empire opens in cinemas. Anyone in the mood for gigantic monster action will be in for a treat on April 12th. In Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, the two legends will fight the mysterious Scar King. We can hardly wait. In fact, we can expect a lot of action during this time. The Mad Max prequel, Furiosa, will be released on May 24th alongside the sequel, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. In June, both young and old will be entertained. At the beginning of the month, Ana de Armas will try to follow in John Wick's footsteps with Ballerina, accompanied by Keanu Reeves, who will once again slip into a signature role. The sequel to one of the most popular Pixar movies ever released will be on June 14th with Inside Out 2. Those of you who like it a little more fun will get their money's worth on July 3rd with Despicable Me 4, where the popular Minions are once again sure to cause plenty of chaos. On July 26th, there will hopefully be the perfect mix of puerile humor and bloody action. After a lot of back and forth, Deadpool 3 will finally be released on this day. It's going to be a crazy multiverse adventure with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and numerous guest appearances by well-known stars and superheroes. There's even more hype in August. We can expect the movie adaptation of the video game series Borderlands, the latest Alien installment with the working title Romulus, and Sony's new Spider-Man spin-off Kraven the Hunter. The classic sequel, Beetlejuice 2, in which Wednesday star Jenna Ortega will also play a key role, will be released on September 6th. Mid-month, we will then get to see Transformers 1 on the big screen, a purely animated film from the famous franchise. The exact look of the project is still a secret. Joker 2, Folie à Deux will be released on October 4th, the highly anticipated sequel with Lady Gaga and musical performances. It remains to be seen whether the sequel can build on the success of its acclaimed predecessor. Venom 3, in turn, will hopefully step things up a notch when it opens on November 8th. After all, many fans were rather disappointed by the second part. Anyone who was pleased by Ridley Scott's historical epic Napoleon should mark November 22nd in their calendar, because that's when Gladiator 2 will be released, featuring Denzel Washington and many others. The movie year closes on December 13th with the animated film The Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim, and on December 20th with the adventurous fun of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. As you can see, there's still plenty of diversity awaiting us at the movies in 2024, but those were just a few highlights from our perspective. What are you particularly looking forward to in the new year? And if you had one wish for the world of cinema in 2024, what would it be? We look forward to your comments. We'd like to thank you for all of your support and wish everyone a Happy New Year.